I'm Oriana Johnson, and I'm here with my dad, Brian Johnson, in Operation Iraqi Freedom Marine Vet. That's what it was called, right?
It's called Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Yeah. So I first want to ask you, how old were you whenever you enlisted for the Marines?
I was 20. I turned 21 in boot camp.
What made you want to enlist in the Marines?
Well, there wasn't anything around here for me to do as far as work-wise.
How do you feel like being in boot camp changed you as a person? Do you feel like it did at all?
Yeah, it gave me more of a respect for America, a more sense of purpose.
What about being during the active war, whenever you were in Iraq?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that changed you? Did it have any effect on you?
Well, yeah, it did. Maybe not exactly for the better per se, but it made me have more of distrust just because of what was transpiring.
Did you make any friends in boot camp or while on active duty?
I did.
Are you friends with any of those people now?
A few. See, when I got out of the Marines, Facebook hadn't really become a thing, not until I was out.
What years were you enlisted?
From 99, June of 99 till August 2003. I think it's 2003.
Were you worried about going to Iraq? Were you worried about being in a war zone?
Absolutely. It's a little scary being in a place where you feel like they want you dead.
So how old were you whenever you were told that you were going to get sent to Iraq? Were you in North Carolina at the time?
Yeah, that's where Camp Lejeune is. 22, 23 years old. It's 2003.
Did you think you were going to get in the war?
I was in California. We were doing what's called a CAX.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combined arms exercise. And that's when 9/11 happened. And I figured that we were going to go to Afghanistan, and that didn't happen. So I think I had 6 months left on my contract, and I got my time extended. And I didn't know I was going to Iraq until I come back from Christmas. They give us 96 hours of liberty.
Mm.
So I'd come back from that, and the unit that I was with originally, which was Bravo Battery, I had to go from Bravo to Charlie Battery because I didn't have enough time left to do the training to go on float.
Mm.
So you have to do 6 months of workup in order to go do 6 months of float.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough time left. But they were supposed to be gone, and they were there, and there's a duty.
But who's they?
The Bravo Battery, the whole battery.
Oh, okay.
The whole unit was there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're supposed to be gone. And you have it's like a duty. You have a junior, you have a junior enlisted and a NCO, and they are on 24-hour duty there. And I asked them what they were doing there, and that's when they were happily and excitedly told me that we were going to war.
Happy and excited?
Well, some people, that's what they live for. I'm not one of those people.
So what did you do? Like, what did they train you for in boot camp?
Well,
was it any different
boot camp, you learn basics. You learn, that's what's called basic. You learn your chain of command. You learn like they're like orders. You learn how to operate your M16 and other firearms. You learn how to do night exercises. You have team building events, basically to teach you discipline, how to react in a stressful environment. In my MOS school, before MOS school, they have what they call MCT, which is Marine Combat Training. That happens at Camp Geiger.
Yeah.
And basically, you go out and you do what the infantry does. You do just a little bit of what the infantry does, which you learn more tactics. You do a lot more what they call humping, which is basically hiking.
Humping?
Yep, that's what they call it, because we're out there walking. You have a 60-pound rucksack on your back, sometimes a little more, just depending on what your actual job is.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was your actual job?
well, I was a radio operator. That's when I went to 29 Palms in California to do. It's to set up and maintain radio communications between units in the field.
Is that what you did at in Iraq?
Yep. We take fire orders. And basically, you have what's called a forward observer that's with infantry. And what the forward observer does is when they run into something like maybe a tank, a light armored vehicle, or something basically that's in their way that might be dangerous for personnel to handle, they give to us the coordinates. And we give the coordinates to what's called FDC, which is Fire Direction Control. And they take and they do a bunch of mathematical calculations back there. They have a map general of the area. They do some, like I said, mathematical equations, really, for the distance. Because you have to understand that it's like artillery is an indirect fire weapon. So like you're not really looking and seeing what you're firing at. So the communication is very important. So they tell us something's there, they give us the grid, we give FDC the grid, they do all their calculations, and then they give that information down to what's called the gun line. That's where our 155 millimeter howitzers are. And they get the right rounds, because there's different types of rounds that do different things. And basically, they're really good at figuring it out. They send it in, and then your forward observer, he tells you where the impact is and how to adjust. Right, so many clicks, up so many clicks, goes, up. It's not really up, but basically like farther away, elevation, right? So if I say up 3, so you raise the front of the gun up, which makes the round actually travel farther. So if you lower the front of the gun down, it makes it shorter. So you adjust and you go left and right, and sometimes you get lucky and you hit the target.
So are the targets like people or machines?
No, they're machines or light armored vehicles, sometimes even tanks.
Is there anything you ever feel like regret for going into the Marines? Not doing something else?
No,
Because I know you went to college.
Well, it didn't pan out for me exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it gave me a better view toward everything, more respect for the older people. No, I don't regret doing it. It was an experience that I count as one of the better experiences that I've had in my life. I got to travel around the world and see different things that I never would have got the opportunity to have seen had I stayed here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That was my interview with my dad, Brian Johnson.